Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's corporate pitch event focusing on innovation in agri-food. My name is Warren, and I'm part of SGInnovate's investment team focusing on corporate engagement. Part of what we do is to provide corporates with access to deep tech startups that are relevant to their focus areas. Today, we are excited to have 8 startups joining us in this pitch event. They are providing innovative solutions in the areas of functional and healthier food, alternative protein, and upcycling and sustainability. Before we begin, let us welcome the Executive Director of Investments at SGInnovate, Mr. Xianhui Tong, to give us his welcome remarks. Xianhui, please.
Thanks a lot, Warren, and thank you all for joining us today. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, please allow me to deliver an elevator pitch of what we do. SGInnovate is a government-backed investor in early-stage emerging tech startups. And for those of you who have your own startup, who have worked with startups, especially in new areas of tech, you'll know that to succeed requires a lot more than just financial investments. So within SGInnovate, we also have teams that look into community building, talent networking, corporate engagement, and the various activities and events we organize have the objective of building a more conducive environment for startups to thrive in. Today's corporate pitch event is one of several sessions that we organize over the course of the calendar year to provide a platform for startups to pitch what they do to corporates. The objective really is to generate awareness of what they do, which will hopefully translate into some form of commercial engagement. Now, each session focuses on an area of emerging tech that SGInnovate is investing in, although the startups presenting need not necessarily be from our investment portfolio. As mentioned by Warren, today's session is on agri-food. It's a relatively new area of focus for us, and our investment thesis in this space had originally been narrowly focused on 3 key drivers: improvement of yield, improvement of nutritional content, and of course, improvement of availability, basically where you want it, when you want it. However, we found that there are also trends beyond the 3 that cannot be ignored, and which are driving adoption of agri-tech initiatives, such as the lowering of wastage, a focus on recycling, as well as improving the taste of alternatives. So today, we're actually delighted to have with us 8 startups from around the world that are seeking to address some of these areas. And without further ado, I'd like to hand the time back to Warren and would like to wish you all a great session. Thank you.
Thank you, Xianhui. For today's startup pitch session, each startup will have 5 minutes. If you are interested to connect with the startup, please indicate your interest via the poll that will be launched after each pitch. First up for today, we have Dr. Ilan from Amai Proteins. Dr. Ilan, over to you.
Happy to present at the SGInnovate event and very proud to be a portfolio company of SGInnovate. Amai is sweet in Japanese, and we fit proteins to the mass food market, with the first product being the first healthy sugar substitute. We fix our food system 1 protein at a time by combining computational protein design with precision fermentation to produce products which are tasty, stable, and stability is not only temperature, but also pH and fat, cost-effective, digestible, hypoallergenic, sustainable, and environmentally friendly, and of course, proprietary. We do that by using computational protein design, and I'm happy to send you my book on the field, which is today's leading book in the world on the field. And then by using precision fermentation. Fermentation is the oldest technology in food technology, whether it is wine, beer, kimchi, or yogurt, we eat or drink everything that is in the fermenter. And in precision fermentation, we add a layer of harvesting in order to have a pure GMO-free white powder, the first product being a sugar substitute. In essence, what we do is we say 99.9% of all proteins live in their own small piece of heaven, whether it is our body or exotic fruits along the equatorial, where you have sweet proteins. But food for a protein is a hell of an environment. By using agile integrative computational protein design, we can design proteins which mimic proteins which live in harsh conditions, such as a Dead Sea, hot springs, deep in the ocean, or acidic swamps, and then produce it in a sustainable and cost-effective way using precision fermentation to deliver new novel designer proteins for the food market. But we also have in our pipeline proteins for the plant space, the milk space, and of course, above all, sweet, hyper-sweet proteins, which enable significant sugar reduction without compromising the sensory taste profile. So in essence, we begin with cloud computing, we move to biotechnology, and then we have food technology. We have made numerous different foods, and we have numerous partners with whom we have fee-bearing agreements for R&D development. Whether these are beverages, including hot tea, our protein can be used in a hot cup of coffee or tea, or whether it is ice cream, ketchup, or chocolate, we can reduce a significant amount of sugar, 30 to 80% of the sugar, without compromising taste. We don't compete with a small diet market, but with a big sugar market. And we check using our professional sensory panel that comes twice a week in order to do blind tasting that indeed we have a good product. Sugar is the topmost, heaviest problem on earth and heaviest challenge of non-communicable diseases. And beyond good health and well-being, sugar is a major cause of issues of sustainability and contamination of land, air, and sea. You have today 8 different categories of sugar reduction, but they all fail above 30% sugar reduction in taste, cost, health, and product fitness, usually more than one of these categories. These, by the way, include sweet proteins, which are used as taste modulators, not as a significant sugar substitute. And still 90% of the market is sugar and high fructose corn syrup, the rest being not only not tasty, but also not healthy, because all of these are small molecules which interact with the microbiome, liver, and kidneys. We use big molecules. We use proteins which build our body muscles and tissues. And for that, we go to the jungle where you have sweet proteins, but they have a challenge in cost, stability, and in sweetness profile. We solve these issues using these 2 disruptive technologies to produce a sugar-like tasting sweet protein that is cheaper than sugar. We have won numerous awards around the world, and already in 2018, we got in Singapore the Future Food Asia Award as a finalist, just when we only had a proof of concept. Today, we have a amazing company with very good investors such as SGInnovate and many others, an amazing team, 70% female, 9 PhDs. And to sum up, we are a moonshot, coupling the huge challenge of sugar overconsumption with 2 breakthrough technologies to produce a radical solution of the first sustainable, healthy, and tasty sugar substitute. We are now in the regulatory phase, and in less than 2 years, we will be in the market. I think today we can show with COVID-19, we have quite a good success in curing disease. The next revolution is to cure the food we eat, and we do it 1 protein at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ilan, for your pitch. If you would like to be connected to Amai Protein, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launched on the screen now. Next up, we have Dr. Alvin from Hoow Foods. Dr. Alvin, over to you.
And do I start my video? Yes. Yeah, so thanks for the opportunity to be here. My name is Alvin, representing Hoow Foods. I'm a business development director here at Hoow Foods itself, and we're all about making delicious foods healthy again. Here at Hoow Foods, we want to address the major metabolic diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. They do take up quite a bit of economic burden around the world, and definitely in our parts, in our own backyards here in Singapore and Southeast Asia. But at the same time, we do see the challenges that our F&B industry are facing. From the buy side of things, consumers want their healthier foods to taste better. At the same time, they want their healthier foods to be a lot more affordable. At the same time, on the sell side of things, for the food manufacturers, whether they are the large size conglomerates or whether they are the small and medium sized companies in itself, they all face the same key priorities: taste, cost, and time to market. At the same time, for companies who may have been producing their best sellers for the past 10 to 20 years, they may not have the right in-house expertise to create a healthier version of their food product, a version 2.0. And even if they do so, they might not have the right people to scale it up from the lab scale to larger scale and beyond. So here at Hoow Foods, we want to enable healthy living through healthy eating. And we can do it through three ways. We can reformulate foods to become healthier, to cut the sugar, the calories, the fat content in the food products in itself. We can create functional ingredients that could address the need to reduce fat, salt, sugar contents in food products. And last but not least, we can bring out complete food products by itself. And all this is made possible because of our platform technology, where we call it Regenesis. As an AI platform, it comprises of a few components. But before that, how it works was that, as long as we have a reference product, maybe it could be the company that we are doing as a consultancy project, or it could be competitor's product, as long as we know what's in the ingredients. And then at the same time, and as long as we know what the end outcome is, what kind of outputs do we want to get, how much lower fat or sugar or other sorts of content do we want to get out of the end product itself. Based on these two inputs, we feed it into Regenesis. Regenesis has an ingredient database. And then what we do is that we first do a matrix analysis. We look at how each ingredient and physical, not just the nutrient components, but also the physical chemical properties, how they interact with each other and what the consequences are when we replace these ingredients in itself. We also look into the mapping of ingredients. We map them with alternative ingredients that are already in market, and some of them that are coming up in itself, to see what kind of best ingredients could be used to achieve the nutritional impact. And finally, we come up with potential formulations that could be used to achieve that end product in itself. Using Regenesis, we're able to get a first trial, which means we try it out in the wet lab. We get a success rate about 60 to 70% there, and we can actually cut down our lead time by 6 months or less. And Regenesis is not just an AI platform that sits out there that doesn't do much. It's already been put in action, and we've used that on existing products in itself. I'm using two examples for today: acai sorbet and also a snack itself. The acai sorbet, we were able to work with a small and medium enterprise here in Singapore, and for the snack, we were working with a major F&B conglomerate. Both of them had the same task for us: create a healthier version of their food product. For the acai sorbet, it took us less than 2 months. For the snack itself, because it comprises of a biscuit layer and a cream layer itself, so there's two components. That's why it took slightly less than 6 months for us to complete the product development using Regenesis. But both of them had the same outcome. They retained the taste, they retained the physical profile of the original product. But what we were able to do using Regenesis is really drive through the nutritional impact. For our acai sorbet, which is already a healthier food product, healthier dessert, we're able to cut calories by 40%. For the snack itself, we're able to reduce calories by 30%, fat by 40%, and sugar by 60% itself. But also at the same time, when we're doing all these reformulation projects with food companies, right, we'll realize that there's quite a lot of these in-market alternative ingredients that are just not up to the task itself. Some of them are not versatile across various culinary applications. Some of them are limited in terms of what you can really do with them. This is why, through our deep knowledge of foods and ingredients and formulations, we're able to use Regenesis and create our own functional ingredients. Our fat substitute allows us to, when it's mixed into baked goods and other food products, we can actually cut the fat content by 60%, and it's also plant-based as well. Our salt substitute allows salt usage to be cut by 90% and still retain that saltiness in the food products. We also created a GI modulating ingredient where if you mix it into rice, noodles, pastas, it drastically reduces the GI value of these food products in itself. And we believe these ingredients can be used to make an impact across these metabolic diseases that we hold so close to our hearts. Lastly, Regenesis can also be used to create complete new food products. The first food product that came out of Regenesis is calories. In fact, we used two reference products at a time. Häagen-Dazs, which is, everyone knows that for its rich, indulgent, creamy ice cream products in itself. And also Halo Top, which at the time was the North American market leader for ultra low calorie ice cream, except its taste is a bit iffy. So we created calories in 2018, we brought it out to market, and it's quite well liked in the market itself, but it's also a lot healthier, less than 70% less calories, sugar, and also 80% less fat as compared to a normal serving of ice cream. And more recently, we're able to use Regenesis to create health sustainable foods. And the first food products that we roll out is Hake. What Hake is that it's one of Singapore's first plant-based egg substitute in itself. It's cholesterol-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free. I'm running out of frees to use at the moment. In terms of fat content, it's about 20% of a normal egg itself. Proteins about 90%. We're almost there as almost normal as a normal egg. And because we understand what the food products and formulations, right, we're able to create an SKU that addresses that's a lot more sustainable. We're using a powdered format for the moment so that you can cut down cold chain logistics, which is also taking up a lot of carbon footprint, and it's also a lot more cost effective in storage in itself. This is almost my second last slide. I think it a startup takes a whole village to raise a child, and we are very grateful to have a lot of these investors and partners who were able to join us throughout our journey itself. Kilini came on board as a client for our formulation projects, and then along the way they came on to invest into our journey and also as a joint venture partner as well. Innovate 360, everybody in the food tech scene probably knows them, great supporter of the scene itself. We're also supported by various VCs and investors who are there to support our journey along the way. So this is my last slide in itself. I think if you're a food company out there, we want to take the opportunity to look into how we can co-develop healthier and sustainable food and beverages using our Regenesis platform and also using our functional ingredients as well. They're also open for licensing opportunities. And last but not least, if you are out there keen to take on the distribution of our novel food products such as our calories ice cream or Hake, do reach out as well. And with that, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Alvin, for your pitch. If you would like to be connected to Hoow Food, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launched now. Next up, we have Siva from Myvocation. Siva, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. My name is Shiva Susarla. I'm the CEO of Myvocation. I'm here with my co-founder and the CPO, Dr. Yashaswini. I guess she's in the audience. We are super thrilled to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. We are Team Myvocation. We are one of Asia's first biotechnology startups using mycelium and transforming it into novel food and beverage solutions. For people in the audience who don't know what mycelium is, mycelium are the root-like structures that are technically the roots of the fungi. What we eat as mushrooms are the fruiting bodies. What is invisible to the eye and under the soil or other growing medium is the mycelium. We have mastered how to texturize and transform that mycelium into novel food products. Almost all plant-based vegan sources right now come from 3 root subsources: wheat, pea, and chickpea. All the with some chickpea becoming increasingly dominant. All the plant-based sources come from these 3 or 4, which means there's no differentiation in the base upstream product. To create the differentiation, plant-based technology companies have to engage in massive downstream processing to create texture, flavor differentiation, and develop a product that that customers like. Consumers are beginning to look at the E number and ingredient list and see how many additives go into products these days. This is a very dominant trend, and they're unhappy about the E number or the additive number or the ingredient list in most plant-based protein sources. Because mycelium is nature-inspired, we believe we have a really elegant solution to the problem. So to summarize, we are using fermentation technology to transform mycelium into customized food solutions that are VANs: vegan, affordable, nutritious, and sustainable. And we are combining expertise in fermentation with some expertise in data sciences and AI to customize and texturize mycelium for different use cases. So what's the advantage with mycelium? I already highlighted the problem with plant-based protein. Mycelium has a natural umami flavor, right? And high fiber. When texturized, it is more likely to offer the kind of fibers that customers like compared to plant-based alternatives. Mycelium, because it's a 10-day fungal growth cycle, we believe we can at scale make this very affordable. And it's also a complete source of nutrition because it has many of the essential amino acids. It's nature-inspired. Our substrates are byproducts and surplus food and agricultural derivatives. Our downstream processing is minimal, and we are ultra-sustainable. Myvocation, ladies and gentlemen. So what are we all about? We have developed our 3C Myco stack, or a Myco platform. The first module of the 3C stack is the configure module. Here we are screening and identifying a range of edible mycelial strains and creating a substrate library. At this module, we're developing the knowledge of combining the right strain with the right substrate based on customers' requirement. At the construct module, we are applying a suitable fermentation technology from a slate of fermentation options: submerged, solid state, foamy, and so on. And depending on the use case, we can invoke the right construct methodology to combine with the strain and substrate at the configure level. At the consume model, we are actually module of the stack. We are transforming it, the mycelium, into use cases such as dairy, alt protein, ingredients, noodles, and so on. So our USP, once again, customized mycelium products. So if you're a client who wants a flour that is pink, grainy, and 40% protein and 20% fiber, you key in this information into our Myco Smart Engine. The engine hits the 3C stack, invokes the right strain, substrates, chooses the right methodology, and gives you a product that you could use. If you are coming back and saying, no, I want a whole cut protein-like form instead, our Myco Smart platform takes this input, hits the 3C stack, chooses a different strain substrate combination, chooses a different fermentation methodology, and gives you your product instead. So highly customized mycelium products, ladies and gentlemen, the first in the world. And we are trying to co-create food and beverage applications with industry biggies that we can now sell to our clients. We are a B2B company. So we have about 17 edible strains identified. That's another differentiator. We are working with GRUST, strains. We have the protocols optimized for 2 of those. We have some very good initial results on solid state fermentation as well as submerged fermentation. We have a flour form as well as the foamy vertical slab developed. We're getting good results. We are working to develop a texturized protein right now in collaboration with 2 of the biggies here, but we have the first prototype of a dairy alternative, a cottage cheese as well. And we have a functional flour that can be used as a fortifying agent. Our business model, we want to custom create mycelium ingredients for partners and co-develop products with them. Beverages, protein analogs, specialty food ingredients, and snacks are all in our radar right now. So my name is Shiva. I'm here with Dr. Yashaswini. Our third co-founder is Dr. Yongsing Tan, and we are supported by Energy, the studio, and Circular, a technology company helping us develop the AI platform. So right now we've just closed our pre-seed funding. We are rushing to execute and develop all these exciting range of products. We want to build a pilot scale here in Singapore to start supplying our first set of clients with the ingredients of their choice. And then we want to scale and make this a thriving business. Thank you so much for listening to me. I would love to connect with the audience members here, either to discuss funding, collaborations, co-creation. Thank you so much for this opportunity, SGInnovate team.
Thank you, Shiva, for your pitch. If you'd like to be connected to Myvocation, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launched on the screen. Next up, we have Dr. Rishita from TeOra. Dr. Rishita, over to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll share my screen. I am Rishita, founder and CEO at TeOra. At TeOra, we are using biotechnology to solve some of the larger challenges in food and agriculture. As you might know, that 30% of the global food is lost to diseases. If you think about it, it's like these poor farmers that are bearing the brunt of these costs. In a lot of cases, the common solutions, the common go-to solutions are either antibiotics, harmful chemicals, or in some case, just prayer. Because of these harmful chemicals that are being used, most of them end up in our food. This is unacceptable because these increase our risk to many diseases such as cancer, autism, and many more. We are here to stop this. With advances in science, we can prevent we can do 2 things. One is we can prevent these diseases and we can improve growth in a completely natural and a sustainable manner. The way we do it is that we design proprietary proteins. These proteins are then grown in microorganisms. The role of these proteins can be either disease prevention or enhancing growth. These are then grown in microorganisms in a completely sustainable way using precision fermentation. We have an additional step where we use encapsulation so that they are delivered exactly where they are required. It could be either to the gut or to the specific places in the plants or animals. This is then incorporated in the final product. With this, we have 3 patent pending IPs that we have filed. Our products have application in aquaculture, cultured meat, agriculture, and livestock. We start with aquaculture, where we know that disease management solutions are currently injection-based, available only for a few diseases, and no solutions are available currently for shellfish, which is a 40 billion, where only shrimp is a $40 billion market. We bring our technology where we design these special proteins which are protective. We encage them in other protein cages, and then finally encapsulate them so that they are delivered even in harsh aquatic environments to where they are required within the shrimp. Our platform offers many advantages, and I will just highlight a few. It brings oral delivery possible to many to these solutions now. So injection delivery is not required. It is completely safe. And because of the smart design, we can design it for many, many different diseases. These diseases could be infectious diseases of virus or of bacteria. Currently, we are working on our first product, TeOra WS, which is in animal trials. We have completed the product development cycle and the batch production, and we are looking to solve this huge multi-billion-dollar problem that is affecting our industry here in Asia. The second product that we have is enhancing growth, because that's the second thing required with all these climate change, with all these diseases. If we can produce more food in the same amount of resources, that is highly desirable. That's where these proteins come into play. We use these proteins, we design these proteins and then deliver them again in a completely natural manner to the final organisms required. Our technology has multiple applications because of the two different things that we specialize in. One is we can have disease prevention for bacterial or viral diseases. We can have more sustainable and predictable ingredient sourcing, where instead of getting ingredients from plants that rely on climate, on seasonality, you can now source them from fermentation-based technology. More importantly, we can bring maximum beneficial nutritious effects to these ingredients by encapsulating them and delivering them in a precise manner. Our products are patent protected, and we have been recognized at the different international forums, including for aquaculture at the Global Aquaculture Challenge, and we have received a competitive grant from the Good Food Institute. We are a team of scientists, operations, and business people that want to bring impact to the community. And for this, we use interdisciplinary approaches from biotechnology and synthetic biology and material sciences. We are led by a group of advisors from, again, business front, IP front, finance front, and of course, more the academia in the different fields. We are supported by, as I said, the Good Food Institute, Aquaculture Institute, and Innovate 360. The impact that we can bring is increase the yield by up to 20% in some of these producers, which can feed up to 90 million people annually, and reduce the antibiotics and grow more in a limited amount of time. If you want to get access to our platform or collaborate with us, do contact us. We are open for partnerships for co-development, or if you want to license our technology or know more, please do reach out to us. If you want to make sustainability profitable, come talk to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rishita, for your pitch. If you'd like to be connected to TeOra, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launched on the screen. Next up, we have Carrie from Avant Meats. Carrie, over to you.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carrie, founder and CEO of Avant. Thank you very much for SGInnovate this opportunity to meet with all of you. We are developing the cultivated meat technology so that we can produce meat without the need to catch any animals, and we produce it in a sustainable way, in a fully traceable way that we enjoy. So why we need to do that? For us who may not know, the ocean actually producing 50% of the oxygen the planet produces is more than a lot of the forests add up together. The marine ecosystem is super important for the well-being of the planet. However, fish we are still catching half of the food that we eat from the ocean. We know that overfishing is a huge problem. In addition, marine pollution is a problem for the consumers. Aquaculture take care of, half of the equation. However, it is limited by the number of species that can be domesticated. A lot of farms also have environmental impacts, such as greenhouse gas emission, as well as some pollutants into the surrounding environment. And so therefore, we have been emptying the ocean, exploiting up to 90% of the marine ecosystem. Why we want to address on fish is that Asia consuming over 60% of the global produce of seafood. China actually top of the chart. For the planet, we also look at the GHG emission. We also talk about, a lot of the time talk about beef, but actually aquaculture is having similar footprint as pork. It also, altogether with fishery, contribute a very significant proportion of the greenhouse gas emission into the planet, ocean, and atmosphere. As for consumer ourselves, do we from time to time worry about, are we eating some of these together with a fish because they are simply not visible to the naked eyes? For business, we know of friends running fish farm, they are increasingly affected by the changing environmental climate change, such as these challenges. So this projection of the meat market is going to be 35% will be cultivated meat as the solution for the future of the population. It is a very big market, over $600 billion US. How we do that? This is very similar to making other bioprocessed foods such as yogurt and beer. We start with a healthy population of the cells, which we call cell line. We feed them the nutrients that they need to grow, including glucose, mineral, amino acid, and protein. And they're no different from what human beings we need to survive and stay healthy. We provide the cells with a structure they can grow on, which we call a scaffold. And then we basically keep them in an environment which is super sterilized, clean control, which we call bioreactor. And about 2 months' time, we can yield the product that we want. In this case, for fish, growing a fish from fry to the full size is about 9 to 12 months. Some species can be a bit more. In this case, it's about 2 months' time. So it's actually compressing the production time, increasing drastically the productivity as well. If we look at the life cycle, these opportunity can basically reduce the footprint to really a fraction of the conventional animal agriculture. So a lot of the company corporation already working on this, either through investment or through partnership. A lot of also VC and other investment, institutional investor already in this space. Avant is the first company in Asia to develop cultivated fish. As in a lot of the landscape, we are one of the leading company very close to our pilot production and commercialization. We started in 2018. And we have launched several products. We have developed those products, including fish maw, which is very catered for the Asian market. We also produce the cultivated fish fillet, which is catering for the both Asian and also international market. We are also using this technology to produce marine peptide that can be used in skincare and personal care products. We are very grateful to be a technology pioneer awarded by the World Economic Forum in June this year. At the moment, we operate in Singapore as well as Hong Kong. In Singapore, with a joint laboratory with A-Star, and also building our pilot plant to be in operation end of next year. This technology is very expensive to begin with, but we already achieved 90% of the cost reduction by removing the most expensive component in that, which is the serum. We also have the other proprietary solution to reduce the remaining 10%. The cost of production, all of them are captured in our IP that we have filed in provisional patent, PCT, as well as country filings. And our lab is actually in Bioponics, operating up and running now. As I mentioned, we will have the pipeline start producing our product by the end of next year and going to supply to the market under these brands. So we'll be supplying to food services as well as product, commercial consumer product. Beyond 2025, we look to scale up globally using partnership and technology licensing. We have a full stack technology platform from the cell line medium bioreactor to the scaffold. We have a team of 15 now and growing towards next year. And we are also supported by a very savvy, experienced investor in the alternative protein space. So we know that, you know, our way of producing meat is not sustainable. So we are very much looking forward to, if you want to improve the productivity and also sustainability of your production, or would like to be part of this new development, we would like to get in touch and speak with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carrie, for your pitch. If you would like to be connected to Avant Meats, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launched on the screen. Next up, we have Dr. Vignesh from Cellivate Technologies. Dr. Vignesh, over to you.
Thank you, Warren. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to present. My name is Vignesh, and I'm the founder and CEO of Cellivate Technologies. Our goal is to help enable this cultured meat revolution, and we want to do this by filling the different gaps in the value chain to having cultured meat. So we all know that having delicious, yummy meat like this has got effects on the environment. And there are many companies around the world, including the company that just spoke, Avant Meats, who are trying to overcome this problem. And it is, I would say, almost confirmed that in the very near future, meat like this will not be needing a slaughterhouse, and it will be eco-friendly. The way most of these companies, or all of these companies are doing is as follows. Tissue is taken from the animal, be it a cow or a pig or even fish. The cells of interest are extracted and first grown in a small scale and then scaled up in a bioreactor before they are packaged as meat as we know it. However, like every disruptive technology, there are certain gaps, certain hurdles that we need to overcome before this can become mainstream. So one of these hurdles is that there's difficulty in growing critical cells. Another hurdle is that there's an absence of reliable edible scaffolds and microcarriers. And of course, in my opinion, the biggest hurdle is that meat itself is a three-dimensional thing, and to scale three-dimensional meat is very difficult. And that's where Cellivate Technologies comes in. So we have developed unique technologies to overcome these hurdles. One of these technologies is a cell growth acceleration platform for critical cells. We have also just filed our IP on edible microcarriers, and we have a bioreactor innovation that allows the 3D assembly of meat to be scalable. Some of the features of our of the products coming from our technology is that our yields are higher. It's applicable to different meat types, and it integrates very nicely with the workflow. Right. So the products that come from these technologies, we call them ProCyte. Pro as in promoting, cyte as in cells. And as you can see here, the different stages of the value chain, it corresponds to the different scales of culture, from small scale to medium to large. And we have different products at these different scales. So from cover slips to dishes to microcarriers, and a system for the 3D assembly of meat. Okay, so since this is a biotechnology, it can be applicable to many different areas, many different markets, but our beachhead market is the cell-based meat market. This is the vision we see for ourselves. We started to generate early revenue this year, and we're in the process of building our core team. By next year, we want to scale up our production, thus scale up our sales, and we also want to develop our 3D meat prototype. And our long-term vision is really to be the Intel inside within the cellular meat machinery. Okay, so this is our founding team. Our team has expanded a lot since then, but Just want to highlight that myself and Professor Venki, who's a pioneer in biotechnology, incorporated this company almost 2 years ago. So these are some of the organizations that have been helping us. A lot of the early research was funded by A-STAR and US, and we have also got grants and early funding from different companies. Last year, we were highlighted by the Good Food Institute as being one of the top 100 startups to look out for in this space. Now, I want to end off by talking about our vision. We all know that personalized foods are always preferred. Like all of us probably like coffee, but our preferences for how the coffee is to be made is probably going to be different. So in the same way, now that the animal is no longer the limiting factor in getting meat, our vision is to have personalized meats, perhaps increase or decrease the amount of fat, perhaps add fiber. All of these are possible now that the animal is no longer the limiting factor. And that is what Cellivate Technologies wants to do. So using our products we can start off by increasing the cell counts, using our edible microcarrier, growing our different meat types within our bioreactor. We're already able to personalize the texture of meat, as you can see at the bottom left here. And this here is an example of our 3D self-assembly of meat within the bioreactor. So I'll be very happy to discuss more about what we are doing, but I think that's all the time I have now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vignesh, for your pitch. If you'd like to be connected to Cellivate Technologies, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launch now. Next up, we have Hubert from Bioponics. Hubert, over to you.
Hi, my name is Hubert. I'm the CEO of Bioponics, and I'm really excited to tell you all about our venture today. So feeding 7.8 billion mouths around the world is no easy task. We rely on a massive infrastructure of farmers operating 13 billion hectares of farmland globally. Chemical fertilizers is a major farming input. Farmers feed crops 170 million tons of chemical nitrogen to grow their produce more efficiently and economically. Unfortunately, nitrogen fertilizer production is unsustainable. It is an energy-intensive process costing over $130 billion per year in fossil fuels. It emits 147 million tons of CO2 every year. Sad to say, agriculture is one of the worst carbon-emitting industries in the world. Biomanufacturing is the key to our future. The world already biomanufactures biofuels, medicine and vaccines, clothing and polymers, and I am proud to tell you today that we will also biomanufacture fertilizer. We produce nitrogen in a much better way. 78% of our atmosphere is made of nitrogen, but plants cannot directly absorb this. After 7 years of high institution research, Bioponics has synthesized a bacteria that can absorb this nitrogen into its cells and then release it into a form of nitrogen that plants can absorb. Even better, our bacteria is powered by photosynthesis, meaning we release clean, breathable oxygen as a byproduct. We are cheaper, greener, and our produce tastes better. Compare these two photos, and you will see that biomanufacturing is indeed the better and cleaner future. Not only are we reducing CO2 emissions, we are sequestering carbon from the atmosphere. Our photobioreactor facilities are modular and can be installed on-site inside of commercial farms. Bioponics facilities are also 65% cheaper to build. We provide good value to our end users as well. We expect an 84% cost savings to hydroponic farmers and 62% savings to rice paddy field farmers. This is versus chemical fertilizers, of course. In addition to cost advantage, hydroponic farmers only need to apply our fertilizer once a month as compared to weekly dosing. For soil-based conditions, our fertilizer helps to increase soil fertility. Simply put, our product does work. Through extensive testing at our lab and greenhouse facilities, we can consistently show that our product works very well for rice and hydroponic compatible crops. Our fertilizer enhances growth during the seedling stage, which carries throughout the rest of the crop cycle. Through a natural feedback inhibition loop, the optimized bacteria prevents itself from releasing additional nitrogen once it detects an abundance in its surroundings. Farmers will no longer have to worry about over-fertilization and nitrate poisoning. Again, our fertilizer promotes growth especially well in the roots, as well as chlorophyll contents by up to 30% in uplifts. Plants simply grow stronger and greener using our products. We have already started mass production in South Korea alongside of larger and more extensive field trials. We have also started testing inside of standalone hydroponic systems, where we have installed IoT sensors to monitor the progress. We are the perfect team to make this happen. Dr. Aklas Charesha is the CTO of Bioponics. He is an expert molecular biologist with 17 years of experience and is currently a senior research professor at the Samsung Institute in South Korea. He has published 26 research papers in world-renowned journals. You can just go ahead and Google him. And most importantly, we have a working prototype in our hands today. Hi, I'm Hubert, CEO of Bioponics. I've been a serial entrepreneur as well as the head of division for multiple capital markets firms. I have 15 years of business building know-how. Thank you so much for your time today. That's all.
Thank you, Hubert, for your pitch. If you would like to be connected to Bioponics, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launched on the screen. We are now waiting for the last startup of today, CRUST Group, to dial in. Kindly hold on for a while. And last but not least, we have Travin from CRUST Group. Travin, over to you.
Yeah, hello everybody. Sorry for that. There was some technical issue on the other side. No idea why they couldn't find me. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay. Hi everybody. First and foremost, thank you for having me today. So this is basically the food waste that we have just in Singapore. So CRUST Group right now, we are functioning in both Singapore and Japan, and we just set up a rep office in Taiwan as well. But these stats are just for Singapore. So in 2019, there was 744 million kgs of food waste in Singapore, of which 20 to 45% of food waste in the food service and retail is wasted yearly. And in hotels, roughly around 40% goes to waste. So NEA recently came up with a policy whereby by 2024, a lot of these companies who have food waste will have to segregate and treat their food waste, which means paying NEA a certain number of sum, or at least directing a lot of their food waste towards NEA in 2024 so that they can incinerate it. So that's where I guess CRUST Group comes in. My name is Trevin Singh, and I am the founder and CEO of CRUST Group. So what we do is we actually empower businesses in food service and retail to repurpose their food waste and loss. And we are essentially a food tech startup that valorizes surplus ingredients into unique beverages for our partners. So these are our brand. So I think a lot of you guys have actually seen CRUST, the beer side. So where we predominantly use a lot of bread and rice wastage. And then we have Crop, which we will be launching later this year. So Crop is going to be our line of non-alcohol beverages, whereby we function while upcycling mostly fruit and vegetable wastage. So these are the types of food loss that we have actually worked with so far. Different types of bread, different types of grains, spent and stale coffee grounds, even fruit and vegetable, where we use a lot of the flesh, peel, seeds, and husk. So a lot of companies already know how to maximize the flesh of most fruits and vegetables. So we come in and we tackle the other parts or the ones that are not as desirable. We've also used different types of leaf and husk, and even started using locally grown plants as a hop substitute for our beverage. So this is our secret sauce. We basically leverage fermentation and extraction techniques to valorize different types of food waste, and it's a very simple process where we plug and play for our partners. So we always like to keep our at least our first couple of products easy before we start doing a lot more of the more in-depth deep tech stuff in the background. So these are some ideas of what we're working on with A-Star right now for a deeper tech version. So we are looking at co-developing a probiotic for enhanced stability and functionality. So this will be mainly used for crop, because we don't want crop to just be a product where we upcycle something into a higher value product. We also want it to be functional at the same time. And for the second one, right, so we are also co-developing a technology whereby we can use bread waste with high oil content and lipids, right, in the brewing process. So right now it's been quite challenging for us to actually use bread wastage like muffins and croissants, because of the high oil content and lipids in these, right? And we are unable to valorize them because it will affect the overall quality of the beer. So what we have been I'm working with A-Star on, right, is to basically come up with a yeast of some sort, where we can actually extract a lot of these lipids away instead. So these are our business models. So the very first one is quite standard, where we team up with a very big company. So in Singapore, we team up with Gardenia, and we make our own flagship products, and then we sell it to different retailers online and offline. And the second one is just white labeling. So we work with different F&B companies, we work with different hotels, and essentially what we do is we just white label a product for them. And then the third one is where we differentiate ourselves from everybody else in the market as well. It's a model that we call the SUL model, the Sustainable Unique Label. So essentially what we do is that this is our service side of the business, where we come in as these F&B companies R&D partner, where we will then look at your top 3 or top 5 surplus ingredients accumulated over a week or a month. And then what we do is we actually co-create and formulate a recipe, and is to co-create a brand with you. So essentially, instead of you buying someone else's branded products, right, we then allow you the opportunity to upcycle your own waste and create a product for yourself. So yeah, just as mentioned, you know, what you get to, what our F&B partners will save is the cost of food loss and also cost to discard. And what you gain is additional revenue, co-branded product, a new sustainability initiative, and most importantly, an ability to minimize your own waste. So this is how it works. You know, it's usually spending around a 1 to 2 year contract with each corporate customer, where we have a setup fee, we have a recipe formulation, and we also have an MOQ price. And so these are just some examples of our flagship beers where we are already in Fair Price finals as well. And these are some of the collaboration model, our SUL models. So we have done with Better Barista, where we upcycle their stale coffee ground. We have done with Harvest Ale, which is cellar stop. We have used their surplus pumpkin and surplus quinoa to make a beer. And with Tiong Bahru Bakery, we have actually upcycled their baguette. So this is where, these are some of the markets that we have already had a presence in, Japan, Taiwan, and Thailand. And this is our team. You know, so I'm the founder and CEO. We have a COO, and we also, basically the team is right now, I think about 10 packs already. So this is quite outdated across Singapore and Japan and Taiwan. So yeah, so that's all I have for you guys today. You know, we hope that you guys can join our mission to reduce global food loss by 1% by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you, Travin, for your pitch. If you would like to be connected to CRUST Group, kindly indicate your interest on the poll launched on the screen now. With that, we have come to the end of today's AgriFood Corporate Pitch event. We hope this has been an insightful session for you. Thank you for joining us and staying till the end. We look forward to seeing you again and have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.